Many of us come here week after week and we have a great meeting with God. We spend a great bit of time focusing on Him and Him alone. And we read His Word and we get to know Him more every time we come through the doors of this sanctuary and we sit in these pews. If you would permit me a weird illustration, it somewhat reminds me of when my wife and I first started dating. Now, we dated for about a year before we became engaged, but throughout that entire year, we saw each other maybe 4 or 5 times a week. We were so excited to see each other. We would talk on the phone all the time. I would take her to lunch. We would go different places. It was really enjoyable. And through that year of time, we knew that we were going to want to spend the rest of our lives together. This is the way it is when it comes to meeting God. It's a shame to say that so many of us, what we do is the only meeting that we have with God all week long is right here in the sanctuary. We meet Him for 1 hour every single week, and we really don't think about Him much at all any of the other days of the week, except when we meet Him here on Saturday or Sunday. You know, that's very spiritually unhealthy. You can be a Christian and still have a very poor relationship with God. The Apostle John had a pretty scary warning to those believers that he wrote to in the first epistle, John. And it's kind of interesting because it fits so well with the subject of prayer. And this is what he says in 1 John chapter 2, verse 28. He said, "Now little children, abide in Him, so that when He appears, we may have confidence and not shrink from Him in shame at His coming." You know, there is going to come a point when Jesus returns. And the warning that John gives right here is make sure that you know Him. Make sure that you're abiding with Him. Make sure that you're spending time in prayer so that when Jesus does return, that you're not afraid, that you're not shrinking in shame because you really didn't get to know Him. Because let's face it, we're going to spend all of eternity with the God that saved us. It's important that while we're on this side of heaven, we spend as much time as we humanly can to get to know Him. So my challenge for you today is to start praying in a very real way as a part of your 10 minutes. Just say, God, I want to know more about You. Speak to me through Your Word. Speak to me through the power of Your Holy Spirit in prayer. Speak to me through the pastors that preach on Sunday. I want to know You more. I want to abide in You, so that way I'm prepared for the day that You come and You take me home.